After this, I will comment.
This is simply a lie. I don't even think the Reagan tax cut had all that much effect on the economy. In 1987, I went to work on the White House staff for Ronald Reagan. I drafted the original legislation known now as the Reagan tax cut.
The tax strategy that Ronald Reagan used to create an economic boom in the 1980s.
This was a policy that made a lot of sense in the 70s and 80s, but I think that time has passed, and I've been really arguing against it for quite some time. One of the arguments that the Trump people make is that there will be so much additional growth that the tax cut will lose no revenue.
It'll be revenue neutral when you add growth, because we're going to have magnificent growth.
If you look at the tax cuts of the past, the Kennedy tax cut in the 1960s, the Reagan tax cuts in the 80s, the Bush tax cuts in the 2000s, they all led to a huge increase in the deficit. Trump keeps saying we're the most heavily taxed country in the world.
We are the highest taxed nation in the world.
Which is a complete and total lie that is very, very easily checked.
We are going to protect thousands of family businesses by ending the crushing, horrible, and unfair estate tax.
Fewer than 5,000 deaths per year result in any estate tax liability whatsoever. The vast bulk of the estate tax is paid by estates of $50 million or more. So it is a tax that falls only on the ultra-wealthy.
A giant, beautiful, massive, the biggest ever in our country, tax cut.
You can't cut taxes just for the rich, which is really the only people the Republicans care about. They have to try to cut taxes for the middle class as well. The policies that the Republicans are promoting are cookie-cutter economics or one-size-fits-all economics. They just keep promoting the same ideas year in, year out without any concern for whether they're appropriate to the economy's current needs. The only thing they really care about is cutting taxes for the ultra-wealthy and for corporations, and anything else is just a sideline.
So, income tax. Income tax. Unless you're selling a product, it's not capital gains. Your labor is your labor. Labor is non-taxable, which makes your labor not income. It's not a capital gains because you're using your labor. Matter of fact, somebody else is making money off of you. And not only they're going to have to pay a income to capital gains tax, they're going to, when they make their money off of you, they're going to get taxed for that too, because they're getting their labor ripped off. No matter what, capital gains is a gain from your money that you've already earned. Labor is non-taxable. Go look it up. Everywhere you cannot charge for your labor. If you go to an automotive shop, the labor on that bill is not taxed. It's only the parts, the service product that they're giving you. Because the product is taxable. Product. Your labor is not a product, okay? It is an exchange for what the product is going to be. So, continue to follow these criminals. The 13 families that created the Federal Reserve Act, which isn't federal at all. It's as illegal as it can get, and which created the IRS. America was already collecting money from corporate tax and business tax and tariffs, which was supposed to pay for everything so that the people didn't get screwed like all the other countries in the world before this. And that's something that was America was different, because we didn't get ripped off for our labor, which is a natural thing. Hello, your labor is natural. It's not a capital gain. It isn't even a product, okay? So, continue to to allow this criminal organization to operate. As long as this criminal organization operates, nothing's going to change. They're going to keep getting up there and dancing around and playing these little song dances with all these little lyrics that they talk about, and nothing is ever going to change due to the fact that they're making out off of you, due to the fact that the corporations should have been paying the taxes all along, but when they saw that the little people wasn't paying their taxes on their labor, and they said that should be income, you got hoodwinked. You got screwed, blued, and tattooed, and now you're help footing the bill that they're supposed to be paying, because that's what the whole idea was, that the big guys had made so much money on capital gains. I'm going to give you a little tidbit. In 1925, the Dodge brothers, they used to work for Ford. They used to make transmissions. And in that day, in 1925, they sold 1/10 of Ford Motor shares in that company. Now think about this. In 1925, and they gained about $20 or $30 million from their 1/10 of their shares cashed in. So look how much money these guys had back in the day. Yes. How about that one, huh? So you tell me that mass production companies, they're not making out? Really? In 2008, we bailed out all these companies that make kazoo of capital gains, okay? You guys are getting fucked every year, every day of your lives from this criminal organization. And it's a fact. This country has been hijacked and taken over by a bunch of money junkie criminals.